Ladies and gentlemen, it is the second day of The Truth Dies. Now, if you don't know what this website is, essentially yesterday, The Truth Lies website, which was to reveal the campaign for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, got updated. The title changed to thetruthdies.com. And of course, as you are seeing here, it is teasing zombies. Now, today we got updated with 2 more channels. Yesterday, we had channel number 1 as well as channel number 2, one of which was the channel guide, which had a couple things hidden into it, and a couple that I missed, which we're going to be going over later in this video. Channel number 2 was kind of the weather network, which showed us the Terminus outpost that is going to be one of the maps. Now, today, I'm going to turn the volume up here. We got updated with 2 more channels. The first of which is some breaking news.
Top secret document.
So the CIA has declassified some top secret documents. We can see the Pentagon in the background. And then Mr. Peak comes in and we get Project Janus, which is of course the code name for zombies. Now we can see down in the bottom left-hand corner, 1987, which is kind of the time period where Cold War zombies took place. It was actually 86, I believe, but for this, we also get a bunch of other files. Now I'm going to download this and break that down a little bit further moving forward, but for now, this is just one. What's interesting though is at the very end of this video, the last thing that they show is documents being shredded. So that is one of the 2 channels. The channel after this, we have this. Sounds of Love. My heartbeats only for them. And then here it comes. Look at what we have here. Mr. Peaks. What is this? What do you think this is? Comment down below what you think this is going to be. It is, of course, a Gobble Gum machine. Please stand by. We got a bunny. Now, of course, I think we could dive into that a little bit more and have a look at what all of those Gobblegums actually are and what they could potentially be in game. But I want to take a deeper look at both of these videos and break them down a little bit more, starting out with channel number 3. So really the thing to look at here is what the documents actually say. So we're going to pause and have a look at each individual one, and what we get a picture of is actually Terminus Island, the map that we kind of got a look at yesterday. So after looking at this closer, you can clearly see that these are taken from a bunch of different papers, not just one and torn apart. Specifically, we are looking at someone by the name of Ernst Duffer, and I tried to figure out who this was, and I don't know. However, we can piece together who Mr. Duffer is and what he is doing. First of all, you may see that really long word that starts with an H that I'm not even going to attempt to say. Well, this is where Ernst Duffer worked before. It is another prison found in Berlin, Germany. Okay, cool. What are the rest of these papers though? So the next one that we have here specifically references Terminus Island as well as the Project Janus administration, making us think that this Ernst Duffer is probably the one in charge of Terminus Island. In another one of the papers, we can see that this directly includes Requiem, which we've kind of expected, and then we get to see what these papers are all about. So you can see Project Janus with a logo in the top right, but it says Interrogation Progress Brief, subject Weaver Gregory, in other words, Gregory Weaver, and interrogator Ernst Duffer, or Duffer Ernst if they have that one backwards too. Now, as far as this goes, what we can take away from this is that Weaver is being interrogated on Terminus Island by Ernst Duffer, who we know is working for Project Janus. Okay, we've put that all together now. So then we get some more information on Weaver. So it's kind of hard to read, but I'll read it here. Initial intake status: blames himself for the incarceration of Requiem. Brainstorm ways to exploit this. Acts as an anchor point for the rest of his team. Keeping him separated from Gray and Strauss may give us an advantage. The director wants this one to suffer, and I'm assuming we can kind of guess that the director is probably Richtofen, but I guess we don't technically know for sure. His current status: without a clear purpose, Weaver has become a broken, bitter man. Physical labor will continue to take place before our sessions. It makes him more malleable. So they are clearly trying to essentially torture the members of Requiem. They are all held captive, and based off of the videos that we saw yesterday, that is exactly what we were to expect, but there's more. Clearly there's another paper here, but this one is for Elizabeth Gray. So we get to see her full paper here. Again, this one's kind of hard to read, but it says her initial intake status: independent and willful in session, but footage from the holding cell suggests she is putting on a brave face. Repeatedly stated during intake that someone would come looking for her and other members of Requiem. Her current status, she essentially does not care about her own safety and no longer responds to the threat of physical harm, and she no longer thinks that anyone is coming to save her. Now, the final paper that we have in this is for Carver. The initial intake status of this one is that he's trained to counteract interrogation tactics, so it's time for them to get creative. And he boosts morale for the group, break him, break them all. The current status is that they have resorted to shutting down via disassociation during interrogation. They are careful to conserve his energy in my presence, and running physical training sessions with his companions has kept him stable considering the isolation. So this essentially confirms what we saw yesterday in the video when we saw the prison cells within that very first channel. These are the characters that are being held. They are the members of Requiem. They are on Terminus Island, and we believe that Maya is the one that is coming to save them on the island. The one person that we haven't heard about is Strauss, Oscar Strauss. We don't know what's going on with him yet, and I didn't see any of the papers really mentioning him whatsoever. So in the final video we have here, I don't think this one actually tells us too much about the story. The one thing that it does do is tell us that Mr. Peaks is involved with the Gobblegums thing, and he's going to become an increasingly large part of this zombie story as a whole. However, the one thing that we do get a little bit closer of a look at is indeed the Gobblegums. So when we actually get a closer look at these, it appears as though most of these are actually returning. There's a couple that I couldn't make out, specifically the one in the bottom right hand corner, but I have some guesses. Starting out with the one that kind of looks like a graph, I believe that one to be called stock option. I believe it was green back in previous games. And essentially what this one does is take your ammo from the player's stockpile instead of the weapons magazines. It's kind of like the mags of holding in Modern Warfare zombies. The one in the dead center is profit sharing. This one is points that you earn also received by nearby players and vice versa. The one that looks like a character saluting isn't actually saluting, it's someone drinking, and this one is perkaholic. This one's simple, it gives the players all the perks on the map. And the two that I am not sure about that I'm going to need your help is first off that orange one that kind of looks like there's a bottle cap kind of in the middle of it. I don't know what that one is. If you can let me know down in the comments, that would be great. And then the one in the bottom right, I am also not 100% sure about that one, but I do have one guess. It could be cashback, which essentially just spawns a max ammo power up, so nothing too powerful. But again, that one is really hard to make out. So we got to look at Gobblegums, and it appears as though we are starting to get a story pieced together for Terminus Island. Requiem is on the island and being interrogated by this Duffer character. And as far as how they are going to get rescued, we think that Maya is coming amidst a hurricane to break our characters out of the map. I'm guessing we have one, potentially 2 more days of these teasers before we get an actual trailer for zombies. When or if this happens, I don't know when, but I will keep you guys updated. So you're going to want to make sure you're subscribed, have notifications on, all of that kind of jazz. And as always, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.
We are